Hey there all you fabulous people. So for this new part of my channel, I thought that I would try and do some gaming predictions. I'll be looking at new games coming out in 2015 and maybe even 2016 and try and give you a bit of a rundown, a bit of the way that I think about games before I buy them because I'm not mega loaded and can't afford every single game that comes out. And just give you a bit of an insight into the way that I think about games. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, let's get into this. These are my own personal predictions for the game Until Dawn, which comes out in a couple days, I believe. Until Dawn features some interesting newish mechanics that can make the game much more of a true-to-life horror game than other, well, not so true-to-life horror games. One of the new mechanics that caught my eye is a sort of tailored scare approach to the game, in which the gameplay will be broken up by first-person scenes in a psychologist's office, where a rather creepy-looking psychologist shows you a bunch of flashcards, black and white images, and asks you to pick which one is scarier, like the ever-so-famous, totally not cliched horror clown or mutant scarecrow. The scarecrow is creepier. Now this might seem pretty cool at first, however I recall Silent Hill Shattered Memories doing something very similar to this. It featured a system at the start of the game in which you were also in a psychologist's office ticking boxes that said something like, I make friends easily, and, you know, those rather weird, stupid questions. The overall desire for this mechanic was to draw the player into the game and tailor the scares that were in the game for the player, making it much more of a realistic, scary horror game. However, when I did my own playthrough of this game, I found that the mechanic didn't really work as well as the developers were hoping for, and it didn't really impact on the game all that much. Alright, shiny graphics are up next. Now, after seeing some of Until Dawn's gameplay, I can say without a doubt that the graphics are phenomenal. They look pretty, character's skin looks awesome, you can see some flaws. It's just a very, very pretty game. This might not always be a good thing. If we look back at recent games such as The Order, 1886, Battlefield Hardline, Destiny, Watch Dogs, and a couple of other ones that I'm not going to mention, we can see that games sometimes try and hide behind shiny graphics to hide out the fact that they've got shitty stories, crappy acting, bad mechanics, and a few other faults. It's really nothing new. My point here is that shitty games usually try and hide behind shiny eye-candy graphics, and it's time to pull back the wrapper and see what the game's really all about. Alright, cliches. Holy crap. Okay, this game has a lot of cliches. So there are a lot of cheesy old school horror movie cliches in this game. In fact, I'm pretty sure they've managed to drag out every single old tired, exhausted cliche from every single old cheesy horror movie ever made. You've got the almost naked chick being chased by a knife-wielding madman, you've got the Ouija board in the basement, you've got the flickering torch in a crappy dark room. It's just all old stuff. Something interesting that I learned about the game is that it's designed to be played multiple times. Now, this struck me as kind of a good and a bad thing. Multiple playthroughs mean seeing and experiencing different things. When I heard about the fact that the story was meant to be played over 9 different times to get the full idea of what is really going on, that's when things started to turn a bit bad. If the developers really want you to play through the game 9 times, do you really think that they are going to make a really long, interesting story? No. No, they're not. They're going to make a short, punchy, maybe 4-hour long main story in which the characters are all briefly introduced, shit happens, murderers get set in the house, ghosts come after you. I don't really know. I'm just speculating here. However, this could be done well. If we look at something like the Telltale games, we see a chapter system, and each chapter is only about an hour and a half long, and yet they still manage to do some pretty excellent storytelling. Jump scares. Alright, this game is packed full of jump scares. In the short 15-minute gameplay demo that I watched, there were roughly between 3 and 4 jump scares in the matter of minutes. I mean, come on guys, try a bit harder. Alright, let's sum this all up. Until Dawn is a horror, choices have consequences sort of game that looks to be basing most of its inspiration off of super cheesy B-grade horror flicks. The game is going to be filled with cliches like jump scares, lame teen acting, even worse writing, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say stereotyping as well. Does all of this mean that Until Dawn is going to be a bad game? No, I don't think so. I'm not going into this game expecting Game of the Year material, but I am going in expecting some good old-fashioned cheesy American horror that is tailored to my liking. Or disliking, or whatever, I don't know. Either way, bring on the evil knife-wielding scarecrow chickens. Please be sure to drop me a like and subscribe if you think I deserve it. And guys, I will see you next time.